Hello students, in this session we are going to do the revision of your Shakespeare Act 1 Scene 2. In the previous session we did the revision of Act 1 Scene 1, where we were discussing how Antonio and Bassanio have a very good bond, how Shakespeare has shown through the initial speeches that there is something bad that is going to happen to Antonio. What is it? It is still not known to anyone. Even Antonio himself says something bad is there, but what is it that has made me look like this? I still need to find it out, or I still need to study myself. But after that we see that a bond of true friendship and very close friendship is shown between Antonio and Bassanio. He even tells Bassanio that you should be not beating around the bush. Straight away you should have ordered me and I would do anything that I could do in my capabilities to help you out. And Bassanio gives two different informations. First, that he requires money, and although he has spent the earlier amount which he took from probably from Antonio and has lost it, and now he wants this particular amount so that he can keep a check on how he spends the money, and in that way he will be able to recover the earlier amount. And in the similar way he will be able to have a very nice monitoring over this particular amount, and then he will be at least able to recover this amount and will give it back to Antonio. And if he's not able to recover the earlier amount, he will always remain obliged, indebted to Antonio for that kind help. Besides that, he gives the second information that he is in love with Portia, and what is Portia like, her beauty and everything has been described by Bassanio to Antonio. And then he tells his plan of going over there to be a suitor for Portia, and he even gives the information that something or the other, some inner gut feeling makes him feel that if he'll go over there as a suitor for Portia, he will not be losing the feet, but rather something makes him feel that he will be winning Portia over. And this is something totally his intuition, that he feels that he should go there as a suitor for Portia. After that particular scene, here we see the introduction of the same lady Portia here, who's the main female protagonist, or the main female lead of the play. And moreover, sometimes she is even called the hero of the play, because at the end she takes over the entire charge of the climax, and then in the court scene she makes all the change and turns the table for in favor of Bassanio and Antonio, rather turning it totally a deplorable situation for Shylock. But that is more to come later onwards. Here let's see how she is introduced along with her maid and a friend, that is Nerissa. We are shown in the beginning that Portia is not very happy, and she feels that it is very sad that she has no particular such word as choice. She is not free to make any choice, and the biggest choice that a person should have is to have a life partner, choice of a life partner, that a person should be given this choice, this freedom to choose a life partner for herself or himself. And here she says that it is to keep the will of a dead father, the will of a living daughter has been crushed or curbed. And Nerissa, she's sharing it with Nerissa that it is all because her father has before his death has made a device, a lottery system, through which he decided that a person can get Portia as a wife. So in that manner she thinks that it is such a partiality towards her, because she is not able to choose a husband for herself. Moreover, if she likes someone, she cannot choose him, and if she doesn't like anyone and he wins the lottery, she cannot refuse him, because in doing so either she'll be breaking the oath she has given to her father, or otherwise she will be breaking the entire scheme which her father has devised for her to get her a suitable husband. So if she has to be, you can say, obedient and dutiful towards her father, she need to follow whatever her father's will is, and in doing so she will have to crush her feelings, whatever the result might be for the lottery system. But Portia over here acts wisely, and she tells her that her father, Portia's father, acts wisely, and Nerissa tells Portia that her father was a very gentleman, and such good people of good nature, usually when they die, they do not have any ill feelings or any evil devices in their mind. They usually think very nicely, and that is why the device or the scheme that Portia's father has made must be very thought after. He must have thought a lot thought about it, and then only he must have devised that thing. And in doing that, whoever chooses the right casket and he gets Portia as his wife must be through the particular way. Her father must have thought over it a lot, and then only he must have decided the boxes and everything. So accordingly, it can be only explained how and why her father must have devised that scheme. But she feels that it must be something which really in reality will give her the best suitable husband for herself. Then later onwards, here we are even given an introduction, or we are introduced to various people who have tried to be the suitors of Portia, although later we come to know that those who have been mentioned over here, they all decide to leave this particular suit, and that too without even trying their luck because of the various conditions that were attached to the choice making. But here we see that Nerissa asks Portia that what do you feel about the various suitors, those who have come for you? And Portia says, I don't even remember them properly by the name. So you say the names and then I will tell you what I feel for them. So various 6 or 7 different suitors we have been shown over here, 6 different suitors. So Portia names each one of them. First is the Napoleon Prince. She says, Portia, oh, he talks a lot about his horse. He indeed, she calls him as a colt, because he talks a lot about his horse and he feels a great pride that he can shoe his horse. Then Portia says, what do you think about the County Palatine? And he says, oh, he is totally a frowning person, very serious, and it seems that if he's so serious in his young age, at the old he will be the weeping philosopher and will be sorrowful about each and everything in this world and everything. It will be very, very hard to live a life with such a husband. Rather, she should be married to anyone else rather than getting married to this particular person. She says, I should rather be married to a death skull with bone inside its mouth socket rather than getting married to a County Palatine who is such a frowning person. Then Nerissa asks about French Lord Montserrat-le-Bon, Falconbridge, the young Baron of England, and the Scottish Lord. So she says about various things, that French Lord was one who had got all his culture and things from different places. He was every man and no man, because he does not have his own personality. Whereas for the English Baron, he says that it was a dumb show, because it was just that he could not understand the languages which Portia was able to speak, and Portia was hardly able to speak in English, which the Baron of England was able to speak, the Falconbridge. And lastly, that was Scottish Lord. It seems that she says that he came without any purpose. It was only just to be a competitor to English Baron, and that French Lord was the person who had become the surety for this Scottish Lord taking a revenge against an English person and coming over here as a competitor to defeat him in that competition. Lastly, it was the young German, the Duke of Saxony's nephew. It was, be very careful, he was not the Duke, but he was the Duke's nephew. And she says that this German was basically when he's very sober, then at that time he's little better than a common man, and when he is very, very wild or in a barbarous way, he's little better than a wild beast. And he's such a sponge, he keeps on drinking, and if I have to get married to him or if he comes for the making the choice, then I would rather place a glass of wine on the wrong casket, so that I know if devil is inside him, he will obviously go for the wine glass, and then he will be making the wrong choice and I will get rid of them. It is rather playing such evil device rather than getting married to a sponge, that is someone who takes or drinks a lot of alcohol. Then she says, Nerissa tells her that you don't have to be worried about any of these suitors, because all these suitors have decided to leave the suit, and they are not going to be your suitors anymore. They are just ready to leave, and 4 of them wants to take your leave. There is a contradiction why she says that there are 4 of them leaving. So it is probably because, not that Shakespeare has made a mistake, probably the reason being that 4 out of 6, 2 of them just went away because they did not feel like even talking or having another word or having a formal farewell or bid any formal goodbyes to Portia when they came to know about the terms and conditions of the lottery system. But the 4 other people, those who are mentioned here, they were decent enough to take a formal farewell or bid formal goodbye to the lady, and that is why they were waiting for her to bid them goodbye. So that is why probably they are mentioned over here as four people. They are waiting for Portia to give them a farewell or bid goodbye to them. So after that we see that Portia is saying that I would rather stick to the same scheme which my father has devised of getting me a husband, and even if I have to live as old as Sibylla, who was basically a mythological, you can say, prophetess in the Roman mythology, that she was given this particular, you can say, a blessing that she will live thousands of years. She had a handful of sand, and it was given that as many grains you have in your hand, that many years you will have of your life. So she says that if I have to live as old as Sibylla for thousands and thousands of years, even then I will remain as pure as the goddess Diana, the goddess of chastity, and that means I'll not get married to anyone. If only I'm get married, I will be married by my father's scheme, otherwise I will not get married to anyone. And that is how she says that she will stick to the same scheme of her father. At this time, we know Nerissa is giving a description which is very, you can say, totally a contrast or totally opposite to Bassanio's character, but she says in a way to find out whether Portia really likes him or not. And moreover, it is Shakespeare trying to tell the audience that even Portia also have some feelings for Bassanio, and it is given in a very subtle manner. So Nerissa asks that, do you remember that there was a young Venetian who was a scholar and a soldier who came over here with Marquis of Montferrat? Marquis of Montferrat was a title given to usually the Italian noblemen. So she said that with one of the Italian noblemen there came a Venetian. Do you remember? He was a very learned person and a very nice soldier or brave person. Portia instantly says, yes, I think Bassanio was his name, so he was called. This immediately shows or gives the idea to the audience that even Portia remembers this particular Venetian who came some time ago, and she has been attracted towards this man, because even Portia, that Bassanio also told Antonio in the previous scene that he did receive some you can say silent gestures or symbols or messages from Portia, that even she shows that even she was attracted towards Bassanio. So that is an indication given to us through Bassanio at that time, and now over here we are given straight away from Portia also, that she very instantly talks about Bassanio. That means Bassanio is very you can say vividly present over here in her memories. She is still thinking about him, so that means she must be having some feelings for Bassanio. And Portia has given a wrong description, which is just like showing about telling about Bassanio in a very nice manner, giving a very nice description, exaggerating the thing, but still it was something which was totally wrong. And Portia, if she had been having no feelings for Bassanio, she would have straight away said, oh no, that is totally wrong. But she agrees to everything whatever is said about Bassanio. That itself shows that she was in feeling or having some feelings for Bassanio, and in a way she wanted to hear everything good about Bassanio. So that is why it shows that she did love Bassanio. Here we are shown that a servant comes over here, and then he tells about another suitor coming over here, and that is the first suitor we are shown afterwards who makes his choice, and that is the Prince of Morocco. We usually call him Morocco, but it is not his name. He was the Prince of Morocco, though his name is not mentioned anywhere else in any other he's not referred by any other name. He's just referred by Prince of Morocco or Morocco. So he is the one who's about to come. He has not yet entered, but we are given this idea that Portia is so busy. As she bids goodbye to one suitor, there is another coming up, and so recently she has got rid of 6 different suitors, and now there is another one knocking at the door. His forerunner messenger has already arrived to give the information of the arrival of his master, that is of Morocco. So with this we come to the end of the scene, and here we are shown the entire but the entire thing going on in Portia's life, with which she is not happy and she's tired. She is not really into the thing of getting married to anyone with the lottery system, yet she doesn't feel like doing it any other way. She wants to stick to her father and wants to be dutiful and obedient. So all these things are shown over here in this scene, and we are given a proper character sketch of Portia. So with this, we come to the end of the scene, and next session we are going to do the explanation and revision of Act 1, Scene 3. So with this, we come to the end of the session. If you have any queries regarding this, you can let me know. We can discuss the answers, we can discuss the speeches. If there are any particular speech related to this topic that you want to know, you can let me know. We can even explain that particular speech over here in the sessions, or even I can send it to your class WhatsApp group. So with this, we come to the end of the session. Have a great day. Goodbye.